Welcome, beautiful family, to yet another episode of Yolking Around, the podcast where we talk about news, pop culture, and ponder on live reflections. My name is Derek Mayo, and today we have a very special episode, and I cannot stress this enough, because our guest is a father, lawyer, advocate of freedom, and one of my favorite TikTok political content creators, Luisito Rios, in the house.
Bienvenido.
I don't know how I'm going to live up to that. That was a great intro.
Well, I was working on it. I was working on it last night, just making sure that...
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me here, guys. I appreciate it. It'll be a lot of fun. And it's nice to be in a podcast in Colorado. I've been looking forward to it.
Is this your first time on a podcast, or have you
No, I've done a few, but this is the first time I done one live in Colorado. So it's great to support the local community and my Latino peeps. So...
That's what we're all about.
Latine.
Yeah.
I don't want to exclude you. I apologize for
Latine.
Latine.
Yeah, he's woke. Watch out.
Listen, I'm 48. It takes time, but I'm getting there.
And, well, first of all, thank you so much, Luisito, for taking this invitation.
Absolutely.
I've been a big fan of yours for a while. I've been looking at your TikTok videos and just seeing your content and how you just kind of started blowing up all of a sudden. And one day I found out that you're from Colorado. And I'm like, I need to be okay. From where? You know?
Maybe this guy's close to me. This is great.
Yeah, I'm like, I need to go to him, right? And I started to see your lives, and in one opportunity, I shot my shot. You know, like a teenage girl, and I was able to reach out to you and thank you for accepting the invitation more than anything. It's snowing out there, hermano.
It's crazy. It was cold when I was coming in. It was like, but I'm used to this shit. I've been here 12 years.
I mean, you're driving a nice car though, man. You're driving the car for the snow.
Yeah,
so
I'm a Colorado lesbian officially. It's like when you get that Subaru, you're a Colorado lesbian.
Yes. And you know what?
Shout out to the LGBTQ community. I love you guys.
No, hey, as you guys can see,
Of course. Shout out to the LGBTQ. But yeah, I needed like something that was like, we'll go up to the mountains because I was a snowboarder. So I got one.
Oh, you snowboard.
Yeah,
okay.
So I got one of those Subies. It was great. Yeah, it does good in the snow. You need it here. Here is crazy.
Yes.
It's going to get even worse in January. So.
Yeah, in your live yesterday, people were saying, "Are you cold?" Well, yes.
I'm cold all the time.
Oh, really?
I'm Puerto Rican. I'm cold all the time. I'm in Colorado. I'm Puerto Rican in Colorado. I'm cold all the time. Even in the summer, it's fucking 80. And I'm like, I'm cold. I need a jacket.
Luis, before we dive into the meat and batatas of this conversation, I would like to let the audience know a little bit of who you are, your background, how a lawyer from Puerto Rico became one of the most charismatic political content creators. And for that, I want to start at the beginning. As a kid living in Puerto Rico, when were you made aware, or when were you, I guess, captivated by the notion that Puerto Rico is under the claw of this government?
Yeah.
Was that something that little kids in Puerto Rico grow up with and kind of recognize right off the bat? Or when did it start to click in that, I guess, you're not your own, or the country is not its own, the island?
Yeah, it's different for everybody because it depends on what type of kid you are and where you grew up with. In my case, it was really cool because my dad was a lawyer like me.
Okay.
But then my dad, back in the when he was younger, in the 1960s, he was, him and my uncle were both a victim of carpeteo. So
what is that?
So the federal government, the FBI and the United States, had a spy program in Puerto Rico. Okay. So they used to spy on Puerto Ricans. And during that period, they would keep dossiers. They would keep like files on people that were potential
threats to
the communists, so to speak.
Okay.
Sort of like a McCarthy kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
My dad was part for a little bit with my uncle of the Independentista movement, the movement for independence of Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And all of those people got like spied on by the United States government. Later, it was found out that it was taken to the Supreme Court and it was illegal because you can't spy on U.S. citizens. They did it again with fucking Snowden, but that's another story.
How were they spying on people? Just tapping on phones? Or?
No, they would tap on your phones. They would follow you to your house. They would like look at what you were doing. They would check your banking information.
Wow.
Who you were sending money. Yeah, it was very fucked up. They would check where you studied, where you work, who were you associating with. And it was a very comprehensive thing. And then they kept this thing called la carpeta. It's like a file, right? We call it carpeteo. And this file had all the information that the FBI needed to, like, you know, in case you were going to, like, rise against the United States government violently. Later, they took it to the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court said, that is illegal. You can't do that. And then the carpetas were given back. So my dad and my uncle actually got theirs back. So they have them in their house and all that shit. Wow. So that's when I was like, I was an early young kid. I was like, this shit is like not the land of the free, and you know, like,
wow, that early. How old were you, if you don't mind me asking?
I was a child. I was like 14 maybe.
Wow.
You know, I remember that shit. And then I went to the University of Puerto Rico where my dad went. So him and
Pontificia.
No, the Pontificia is the one in Ponce. I went to University of Puerto Rico, Rio Piedra. So I was at the one, the main one. And I went there where my dad went. My dad was a major in labor relations, and I majored in labor relations as well. And I graduated, and I went to law school. So I wanted to be a lawyer like him. And, you know, it took off. But Puerto Rico, if you're born there, I always say, like, New Yorkers and Puerto Ricans were born in the United States.
New Yorkers.
They're Puerto Ricans, but it's very different when you're a Puerto Rican born in Puerto Rico. You confronted with things that are very different because you assimilate here. Over there, it's like you're kind of in a bubble.
Do you find Puerto Ricans kind of having that internal hatred towards their own culture?
Oh my God, yeah.
Why do you think that happens to people? I mean, it happens with Mexicans as well, you know.
Whitexicans, you call them?
Whitexicans or Latinos for Trump, you know, todo ese pedo, all that jazz. I don't understand why our own culture just kind of deviates to something so against their own will, if you will. You know?
Yeah, it seems very hypocritical.
Yeah, it almost seems very hypocritical.
Yeah.
But so you grew up around horses then, I take it.
I was at the track, and my dad still bets on horses. He's retired in Puerto Rico.
Oh, really?
And even on every track day, he's like, oh, yeah, I got $10 on whatever. And he just loves
El Pinto.
Yeah, exacto, Mr. Freaky. He loves that shit. He loved that shit. Shout out to Mr. Frisky. He was the only Puerto Rican horse to win the Triple Crown.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a Puerto Rican horse that won the Triple Crown. Mr. Frisky. Yeah.
Shout out.
But the internal racism thing it's always been that way. Puerto Ricans want to be white because we have a caste system. It's like people in India, right? The closer you are to whiteness, the better off you are. You have to understand, like in Puerto Rico, you were allowed to marry people of color if you were white. It wasn't like in the United States, you know? So that system allowed people to feel like, well, if you're black and you marry a white person, then you're... In Puerto Rico, they call it mejorar la raza, for the betterment of the race.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
You know, if you're like lighter skinned, then you get accepted by the counterparts Americans that are your masters. And then it's like always being in this servant position, like Django, like you remember the servant, right? The Samuel Jackson character. So it's always been that way where you have a Puerto Ricans that are constantly engaging in approval-seeking behavior to be accepted and assimilated by American culture and by white people. But you say that to them and they get infuriated, you know?
Yeah.
It's very weird. It's like, it's never going to end. There's always going to be the pygmies, you know? It's like women that vote for Trump, right? It's the same thing, you know? Pygmies. They're voting against their own interests. They're being controlled. Their bodies are being regulated, but they don't care because they want the acceptance of the white man.
Jesus Christ, man.
I'm starting off hot!
Yes.
Love
Shit!
it. I love it.
They're going to throw me out of here.
No way. This shit that really matters and things that people don't really
it's hard topics.
See all the time, you know?
Yeah. It's hard topics, but it's important.
Of course.
I want to know a little bit more about your childhood.
Yeah.
Because I'm a kid at heart. So I remember growing up in Mexico and, you know, playing with my friends. You know, do you have any siblings?
I do. I have a sister. She lives in Puerto Rico. She has no children. She's married.
Shout out to your sister.
Shout out to my sister Moraima. She is in Puerto Rico. She's never left. She likes it over there. Yeah, she and I grew up together. It was a two household. It was my mom and my dad. And it was just a normal life. It was just, you know, growing up middle class, kind of went to private school, which is weird over there. But private school over there is like cheap. You know, it's not like here. It's like a couple of $100 a month. And that's how I learned English because I went to a bilingual school. So in Puerto Rico, you go to a bilingual school. You're not allowed to speak any Spanish. You can only speak English.
Okay.
The only time you're allowed to speak Spanish in bilingual school in Puerto Rico is Spanish class. That's it. But everything else is in English. So it was troubling for me because I learned the numbers and the days of the week in English. And I'm like, Malte, Tuesday. And I'm like, I said, Malte, Tuesday. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, and then the dates are written different. So in Puerto Rico, we capitalize the fecha. The November is with a capital N here. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
So it's confusing to learn all that stuff when you're a kid. But then it gave me the skills in the future to my parents wanted me to have more exposure to the English language that they did because they thought it would help me.
Smart people.
And it did. Yeah, it helped me a lot. It branched me out and it gave me perspective because I used to watch the little cable shows, MTV and all that bullshit. So people would think I'm a white girl because I always sing in English. I would put video killed the radio star. And people are like, this motherfucker is Puerto Rican. Why are you not listening to salsa? But it's because I was raised with gringo music.
Yeah.
So a lot of it stuck.
That tapped into your psyche one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, you were making me andas con bacalao and it looked delicious.
Me anda con bacalao. Yeah. I ate the same shit today. It was so good.
Oh, you made so much.
I made a ton of it. I was supposed to take it to my kids, but I forgot. I still have a gigantic bag. I should have brought it over to you so you could eat it. It's a plate in Puerto Rico. It's typical.
Well, and that's what I kind of wanted to tap into. Do you have any smells or something that reminds you of Puerto Rico, of the island? Something
that was one, because now my house smells like fucking cod everywhere. So it's like this.
Oh yeah, that is a very strong smell.
It's a strong smell, and I don't know how to get it out. I'll light a candle when I get home. It won't go away.
There's one right there.
Yeah, you gotta light it up. But yeah, that one, and also everything is fried. So the smell of alcapurrias when you fry them. If you guys never been to Puerto Rico, you'll see. It's a lot of.
We want to go.
You should go.
You should go. We want to go this next summer, God willing.
Yeah. Super easy. It's now they're doing direct flights, so you can go and do that, like a quick flight. It's like 6 hours.
Do you go to Puerto Rico often?
Oh, yeah, I go all the time. Yeah, I go like twice a year. But I've been I have to go back because I have a lot of stuff that I have to deal with over there with my family. But I go all the time.
Since you were mentioning about having to speak Spanish all the time, or English, sorry, in the school, I was reading something very interesting about the history of Puerto Rico, where I think it was 91, they made Spanish the official language.
Yeah.
And that kind of blew my mind because I'm like, how is it not the official language already?
Yeah, we never really had an official language. Back in the insular cases, it was determined by the United States Supreme Court that Puerto Rico they called it foreign in a domestic sense. Because we've really never been, people say we're part of the United States, but in reality, we're not. The reality of it is the correct term is an unincorporated territory.
Okay.
So it's like we belong to them, but we don't. We have our own constitution. And in our constitution, there's no Second Amendment. Abortion is protected under privacy rights. You have no death penalty. So our constitution is very different. But the English-Spanish thing was never, solved. And in the case of people from the people of Puerto Rico, they spelled it wrong. They even spelled it wrong. Yeah, they said that's where they explained. Listen, you guys belong to us. You have your own laws and your own regulation. But at the end of the day, the federal law is the supreme law of the land. So if you have anything that is in controversy with federal law, you better find a way to change it. So we've always had that colonizer presence from the United States where they kind of it's like a dog where you have a long leash, but if you go too far, they clip it and reel it back. And that's kind of how it works,
So now that you've mentioned that, do you have a stance as to what kind of political situation Puerto Rico would benefit more from, whether that is independence or just remaining as a territory of the United States or Commonwealth?
Yeah.
Do you think there's a better option for Puerto Rico, maybe to better the situation there?
Yeah. That's a great question. It's a complex one. And it changes depending on when you ask. Right now, I used to be a promoter of statehood because I always thought, well, if you're going to be, if I'm going to be colonized, I want to have a vote and a right in your system. So I will run for Congress for Puerto Rico. I'll become a congressman and give you hell because it's my district and I can represent my constituents. Or we can become completely sovereign, become our own nation, and then we get to do whatever we want. The problem is where we're at right now. That one is a system that will not work. And we've been running that system for a while with a party called el Estado Libre Asociado, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, the Free Associated Party. And it doesn't work because they're always telling you, well, we're good like we are right now. You know, we get like American beer, we have Costco, we have air conditioning. It's
Starbucks.
Yeah, it's very like, oh, fuck it, you know, cogemos, lo conformamos, right? It's like very whatever. But it doesn't work. So the alternatives are statehood and independence at this point. The problem is that independence, statehood, even though I like wanted it for a bit, I then had a rude awakening and came to the realization that we will never get statehood because the United States of America is not interested in us becoming a state. They just don't want to. To them, we're a bunch of brown people in the middle of the Caribbean that are a fucking problem. Jesus. And they don't want to deal with us. They're like, no, stay like you are. Why am I going to buy the cow when I can get the milk for free? I'm using your island. I'm getting tax benefits. I'm using your labor for cheap. And I don't have to like pay you additional federal benefits. Fuck it. Leave it like that. For them, it's great. Then the other one is independence. They don't want to let us go either because we're a cash cow for them. You know, we produce Viagra. We produce like sailing bags. We have so much capital labor. And now we give them a law where if they go there and they have a certain amount of employees and make a certain amount of money, they don't even pay tax.
Yeah, they get tax.
Yeah, there's a tax haven. Logan Paul lives there because of that shit.
Right.
You know? So they get tax free. So Puerto Ricans that live in the island do not have the benefit that people that are not from there go and live there. That's how fucked up the situation is. So what do I favor? Listen, I would take independence, but the problem is that we need reparations with that because so much damage was done to us that at this point is like, well, are you going to make me whole? Because you owe me money for the sterilization program you ran on women that you didn't tell them anything about.
Oh, wow.
You bombarded Vieques and made it like a shooting ground for practicing with the Marines, and then you left a bunch of unexploded ordnance there. Are you going to fix that? So again, you took the Domino Sugar, right? The sugar corporation. You used our cane and our labor paying us at 25 cents for fucking tons of cane that we used to cut. They always used us to make their profits, but they never really made us whole. So a lot of the stuff that's happening on the island was their fault. We could take independence, but you have to make us whole. You have to pay reparations or give us at least a very elongated plan where we can get some of that money back. Or become a state, and then we have the full-fledged benefits of a state. We had a project, the Puerto Rico Self-Determination Act, but it fucking hung because the Republicans voted against it. Because Republicans know that we're liberal. They know that if Puerto Rico becomes a state, there's a couple of conservative yahoos in Puerto Rico that are there's a couple of religious there's a couple of religious nut jobs because religion is always present. You're from Mexico, you know how Catholicism is. It's the same shit with the island, right? It's a relic of white supremacy and colonization. But most kids, the new ones that are young, these fucking kids in Puerto Rico that are in their 20s and 30s, they're all liberal and they know it. So they're like, no, we're not gonna make Puerto Rico a state and then have two more fucking or three blue votes. Then we're never going to win an election. The Republicans know it, so they vetoed it.
This whole thing with the Democratic Party and the Republicans is such a mess.
That's
right
an
now.
That's an entire 3 hours of a podcast.
Yeah, no, that's an entire.
We can touch on it a little bit, but it's complex, and I've been getting attacked left and right.
Yeah, and now I kind of wanted to. I kind of wanted to ask you about that. Like, how do you deal with that, man? How do you keep your sanity? Like,
well, you're just asking me to start it this week. If you invite me next week, then I will see. Yeah. But for now,
you'll have a beard like this big.
Yeah, dude. Well, here's the problem. Here's a few things. Number one, it's what I was telling people in the messaging that I was portraying, but they don't want to hear it. If we are choosing as Democrats, our leaders, and we're voting for them, even if they are doing the wrong thing, that makes us no different than Trump supporters. Because Trump supporters do the same shit. They're like, I will vote for Trump no matter what. He can steal, he can lie, he can cheat. He's still my guy. I'm going to vote for him. And as somebody made that in my comments, a Democrat said, well, we should learn from Trumpers because look at them. They support Trump no matter what. Why won't we do it? And I'm like, because we're smarter than them.
Yes.
If you're doing that shit like they do, you're not smarter than them, and then we're all fucked. We're all in this we're all in this vicious cycle, right?
Which it seems like that's what they want almost.
It's very strategic.
It's
intentional.
Oh yeah, and then there's that, right, where they're saying that Democrats want to throw the election so they can get donations and they can get money, which is another good theory. It might be, but the worst one of all is that my message, what I've been trying to sell for the past 2 fucking weeks, and they're not getting it, is that Joe Biden cannot win the election against Donald Trump. People just don't want to accept that. They're like, well, he's not going to win because you're not going to vote for him. I'm like, no, he's not going to win because he's not going to fucking win. If I vote for him and I vouch for him for the next 9 months, it's not going to make a difference. He's going to lose.
Yeah.
He has the lowest approval rating that any other president has had since Carter, ever. And all of the presidents that were sitting in his numbers have failed. He doesn't have the approval of the Muslim community because they're committing genocide against their own people on your watch, and you're admittedly a Zionist. And these Democrats are like, well, if they get Trump, they get it worse. And I'm like, you people are crazy because you're telling. It's like I have somebody there that is like shooting your family right now in front of you, and you're like, and they're telling you, well, if you take that guy out, there's another guy that's going to come back in a year that's going to be worse. And you're like, I don't fucking care about a year. Take this guy out right now.
Yeah.
He's killing me now. Like, what am I worried about fucking November? But they don't understand. Americans don't understand the sense of urgency of Palestinians and Arabs. Because first off, because they don't know them, they probably don't have friends. I have a ton of Arab friends, and I talk to them, and they're like, no, we need that motherfucker out yesterday. Like, not like in a year. We don't care. Whatever Trump comes back, we'll deal with it when he comes. But they're trying to convince people into fear-based voting, and that shit never works. People are tired of it. And then I tell them, and they get angry. Well, okay, well, you're going to be the one at fault. I'm not going to be the one at fault. I'm not the Democratic Party. Yeah. Well, then what do we do?
I'm just a content creator.
I just vote. That's my only job. I fucking show up and I vote. Well, what are we going to do? How the fuck should I know? Tell the Democrats to get a better candidate.
Yes.
Who? Well, we told them many times. There's many. There's Gavin Newsom, Pete Buttigieg, there's a ton, but just not him. And whoever comes in has to also do a change of policy within the Democratic Party to not take money from fucking AIPAC. Yeah. And if you're going to take money from the Jewish state, from Israel, you better make good use of that money. Not take it and be like, kill people, we don't care. No, that's not how it works. You got to be measured in your stance and say, listen, you're our allies. We'll help you out, but you can't just bombard children. The death toll is now 17,000. So when is
Jesus
the number?
Christ.
And it keeps rising. Now I saw an article just now that they're using using white phosphorus on children.
What the fuck? Is that for real?
They're using white phosphorus bombs that are illegal under international law, and they might be accused of war crimes for that. Netanyahu should have already been the fucking criminal.
Where's the UN in all this?
Well, they
just had a vote.
They did 2 votes.
Yeah.
The United States vetoed both votes for a ceasefire, both times.
Which is fucking stupid. They should not have the power.
I don't even understand.
Yeah, they have the power because there's the fucking U.S. And then on the third one, it passed. But it passed because it went to the General Assembly of the UN, which is all of the fucking countries. And all of the countries said, no, that's wrong. And the U.S. with 9 other fucking countries, I don't know which one they were. Austria, I think, was one of them.
Yeah, it was a weird one.
They said no to the ceasefire again for a third time. And the UN said, fuck you, we have majority. 150 countries said yes. And then the U.S. said, well, condemn Hamas then. And the UN said, no, we're not going to fucking condemn Hamas. Fuck it. They need to stop. Because it's an occupied territory. What people don't understand is they always say Hamas, 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 Hamas. Listen, Hamas is a resistance. Right. If you've oppressed people for 75 years and you kill their family, their children, their cousins, their friends, their neighbors, what do you think it's going to happen in 75 years? You're going to get vengeance. They're going to come back and do the same to you. And that's a concept that doesn't register with a lot of people.
No, and then they try to, we were talking about it on the podcast last time, that they try to bleed it as, or color it as, if you don't support this, then you're an anti-Semite. And they kind of treat you as if you were a shit person, when in reality, it's hypocrisy at its finest, because you have the other party just completely destroying the Jewish people.
Yeah.
So what the fuck is all? It's so backwards.
Because Netanyahu has done a fantastic job at selling bullshit propaganda to people that they are the chosen ones, that is their land, that they are better than the Arabs that were already there for thousands of years, and that they have a claim over that piece of land. And they don't want to solve the problem. They think that they are better than people of color. This is about racism, about white supremacy, and
of
about
course,
power.
100%.
But the problem is that because they were victims of the Holocaust, they don't want to have the conversation. But the realization is that they're doing to those people the same shit that was done to them. And that is a conversation that they do not like. I said it on a live, and they were like, fucking livid. I'm like, well, you're doing it. You're like killing children indiscriminately. You're not letting these people travel freely within their own land.
Concentration camps.
You have a concentration camp. People call it an open air prison. It's not an open air prison. I talked to an Arab, and he was like, don't call it an open air prison because that means that the people that are there committed a crime. No, it's a concentration camp. Those people have done nothing wrong. They were fenced over that area. They have nowhere to go. They are prisoners of a concentration camp when they have done nothing wrong. And the people of Israel are not giving them any options. It's fucking horrible. The problem is, I tell people all the time, go speak to a Palestinian. If you don't know a Palestinian, you will never know the Palestinian struggle if you don't talk to a Palestinian. I have plenty of Palestinian friends. Sat down with them this weekend in Florida, and they were like, dude, this is never going to end. We're never going to give up. But these people see us as less. And the settlers go into, like my friend has a house in Jerusalem. They go in and put a fucking trailer. And they just sit there and they like, this is mine now. And it's like, bro, you're in my land. No, this is mine. And then they call the Israeli government and they show up with firearms to protect them. They go to court because it's in violation of international law. And then it stays in the Israeli courts for like 20 years. By the time they're
acting like terrorists. They're acting like terrorists. That's terrorists.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's apartheid. They're running an apartheid state. The same shit that they did to the Afrikaans in South Africa. Yeah. It's the same fucking thing. It's no difference. But, again, they donate a lot of money. They are white, passing, so there's a lot of benefits to that. And, the United States doesn't want to have the conversation of a country colonizing people because they are colonizers too.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. So it's all like a strategy and it's all by intent and by design.
So with that being said, it's very evident that I don't know if the people up in power do not realize this, but the U.S. to me is a decaying empire. It's slowly decaying. What do you think about that? Do you think maybe in, I don't know, give it 20, 30 years, we'll be like in Mad Max or some post-apocalyptic shit?
I posted two videos today. I posted the one with the new movie that came out that the Obamas did for Netflix. It's called Leave It All Behind, I think it's called.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's the animated one, right?
Yeah. No, it's not animated. It's like a full-on movie with
Is it the A24?
No, the A24 is the Civil War one.
Oh, okay.
Those videos are posted, both of them. One is the one where they're like trying to confuse people and that the government is collapsing. And the other one is about...
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's really good. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's on Netflix. I believe it's called Leave It All Behind. I think that's what it's called. It's with Marshall Ali, Julia Roberts. It's a fantastic movie because it's like the Obamas produced it. And it's like, this is how the government will collapse if it happens. That's like their theory. And then there's another one called Civil War. So they're kind of like throwing these movies out there that are like giving you a horrible view of the future. I personally think that the future of the United States is going to be like not a two-party system, but they're going to have to divide the nation, because
that's something like
South Korea and North Korea, because we got into the point where
fucking Hunger Games type shit.
We cannot get along with Democrats. With Republicans and Democrats cannot get along, and even though Republicans are losing votes a little bit, now they're getting it back and they're part of a cult, and Trump is saying that he's going to make it a dictatorship. So, and then what are Democrats going to do? Well, they're going to have to divide it and be like, well, let us keep a few states, you keep your states, and that's it. It's crazy,
I see it possible because the U.S. is such a big fucking a massive land. So dividing it makes total sense. And it's funny that you say that Trump has these ideas because how many times do we shit on China? That dictatorship. We're the same. We're the fucking same, except they actually have economic intelligence. We're not doing any of that. We're just fucking sinking in this hole, and it doesn't seem it's just eating everybody else in the country.
Yeah, we sell people the illusion of freedom. It's like, okay, you're free, but are we really free? Edward Snowden outed an espionage program on people of the United States that were spying on us. When 9/11 hit, they did the Patriot Act. And they're like, well, now you can be declared as an enemy combatant. And even if I have no evidence, I can throw you in Guantanamo in a prison in Cuba with no rights. and do enhancing interrogation techniques, which is a very fancy way of saying torture.
Yeah.
And then I will leave you there for 2 years until we figure it out. Well, what type of freedom is that? People don't understand that the United States is all powerful. They can do whatever the fuck they want, and it's scary. But now with this situation, we'll see how the election goes on 2024, because now we got people divided and everybody's like,
yeah, I really don't know what the fuck
Trump.
is gonna happen.
What do you think about third-party voting?
Third-party voting it's at one point I think I'm gonna have to go that way, because I definitely not gonna support Trump. I know that. I'll never be Republican. Same. But then if the Democrats are Zionists and they're taking money from AIPAC and they're killing people in Israel and they're killing Palestinians, I'm not interested in that fucking thing either. So I'll be like, let's go outside the party lines,
right? Vote
their party candidate and see what happens, because I won't compromise my morals for...
That's exactly what I was going to say.
But it's a very difficult topic, because then the Democrats are going to bleed a little bit. It has happened in Puerto Rico where we separated the parties and then we created like 5 of them. And then it's always the 2 main ones, and then the other ones are kind of scattering votes a little bit and get whatever falls off the table. It's difficult. We'll see how it goes. 2024 will be a very, very telling election. At least for the Democrats, it will give them a big lesson to be like, the shit that you're doing where you think you got those votes locked in, no matter what you do.
Yeah, which is kind of what they're kind of using. No,
they use it.
We got the votes anyways. Fuck these people.
Exactly. That's what they're thinking. They think these yahoos are gonna vote for us anyways. They don't give it. They're more scared of Trump than whatever. We can put the old man again and they'll vote for him. They know it. They stole the election from Bernie. They took the primaries and they stole it from him flat out. And what did they do? They put Hillary, and we told them.
Yeah, they pumped her up, right?
And we told them we don't like that. She's gonna lose. And what did they do? We lost because of Bernie voters. No, you lost because you did whatever the fuck you wanted. You put your people the way you wanted, and then the people, the constituents, the people of the United States told you what they wanted, and you went the other way. And that shit is not gonna fly anymore. If you do it again, you're gonna lose.
Which is something that with the access to information nowadays, it's. A lot of people have a phone, they have access to whatever outside media there is. Yeah. And I feel like either there's going to be some sort of awakening, and I hope there is an awakening by future generations, younger generations. And that's why a lot of people, bag on or trash younger generations. The Zillennials, the Gen Z or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I have faith in them. And I feel like we need to kind of look for those, we need to, I guess, father that generation into, hey, you guys can do better than us. In a way. And I think they're the ones that are going to save us. And those kids take no bullshit. Yeah, that's what,
They think that Democrats are not liberal enough. My daughter sees me and she thinks I'm like this joke. She's like, you think you're woke? You're not woke. You fucking let it all burn. She hates Biden. She's like, I'm not voting for that prick. She hates him more than I do. But liberals, kids that are liberal are a different type of breed. Yeah. They don't like corporate money. They don't like PACs. They want everything grassroots, open, fully. They want true freedom in every sense of the word. It's going to be interesting in the next 20 years. And then 2024, we'll see what happens.
Do you think Trump will end up behind bars?
I hope he's in.
I hope.
But the problem is that the real question is is he gonna be in prison by November? That's the real question. Because after November, it won't fucking matter. If he's not in prison by November and he's running against Joe Biden, he'll win. Because Democrats don't realize that we are going against a cult. When you're going, there's a recent movie, if you haven't, not a movie, it's a documentary. It's called Love Wins All, I think it's called. And it's about this woman who was in Colorado and running a cult called Mother God.
Oh.
And she was like saying that she was going to ascend and don't get rid of my body when I die because I'm going to fucking wake up again like God. I'm God. And she riled up a ton of people, raised like $250,000.
Which is insane how that even happens.
Oh, dude, crazy. But what happened? They carried her body for like 3 days.
Yeah, they were just hanging out with the corpse.
Como que apesta esta, ¿no?
Una peste cabrona, culo. Like, bro, this bitch is dead and you're still carrying around like a fucking doll.
Probably inflated by fucking
Bro,
toxins.
purple. It was like, why are you carrying a fucking body? They took it all the way to Colorado, like 3 hours from here.
Jesus
and they fucking like, but they still believed in it, right? And that's Trump supporters. That's what we're up against. We're up against people who will carry that man's corpse if they need to. They're fanatical. So when you're battling a court, fucking cult. When you're fighting a cult, you need the best you can get. And the best we can get is not Biden. It's just not. You know, it's like we're half-assing it. And you don't want you're not going to win against a jodedor, against a fucking maniac. Bring in a guy that is not, you need somebody like Gavin Newsom, someone young, on his feet. No, motherfucker, this, and this. You know, that people are like, damn, that dude is
snappy.
He's fighting, you know, but you got a guy like Joe who is simply not inspiring people. But people hate it when I say that. They're like, oh, you're bad-mouthing the president. I'm like, he's whatever. I don't give a shit. I don't know him anything, you know? I'm a citizen and I pay my taxes. It is my duty to criticize the president. But some people are just loyal to a fault, you know? I think that if he's not in prison, he'll win against Joe Biden. The other possibility that might save the Democratic Party is if Trump doesn't run, or if he's in prison. And then the GOP is gonna be like, fuck it, dude. You can't be in our ticket if you're in jail. And then it will be like writing independent voters that are his fans. But then the GOP party will be split and they'll never win the popular vote. You know.
Well, and it's weird because you see the debates that the GOP has, the Republicans, and he's not in any of them. Do you know why that is?
Because right now he's dealing with the process of fucking jail and all that bullshit. They're not primarying him. And he really, Donald Trump, when you think about it, is kind of the incumbent even, you know? Yeah. He has better approval rates than any of his contenders. He leads the Republican Party right now in support. And that's something that they don't want to have that conversation. And who's going to go against him? You know, Vivek, who's a human NPC. He's like
he sucks.
He's a weird
Trump
character.
Dick.
And he's horrible. He's like weird and dumb and just like beta and nobody gives a shit about him. He's just weird. You know, it's like, he's just like a weakling. He was on TikTok. I made fun of him. I like stitched his video. I'm on TikTok now. I'm like, bro, nobody gives a shit. You're fucking nobody. I'm on TikTok now.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Fucking, you see a weird ass voice.
And then you have
Ron is a fucking open white supremacist. He's like, he has white supremacist friends, homies. He has one of his friends ran a fucking website that is like a legit Nazi website, and he's like, he took money from the KKK and didn't give it back. They told him, it's like, listen, bro, you took money from a white supremacist organization. Are you going to give it back? He's like, no. He's fucking kept it. He doesn't give a shit. Damn. He's more worried about the boots he's going to wear that are 3 inches so that he can look taller.
Pinches estileros.
Yeah, tacho, tiene la bota de Batman, el cabrón. He had a big-ass boots. Little Big Ron, but he's shit, and he's a white supremacist. He won't win against Trump because Trump just makes fun of him, and people love it. And then Nikki Randhawa, because Nikki Haley, she's not Nikki Haley, she's Nikki Randhawa. She's a fucking Indian, and she's hiding her name and changing it.
Oh, really?
So that Republicans vote for her, because if she says Nikki Randhawa, all these fucking crazy racist motherfuckers are gonna be like, I'm not voting for a terrorist because that's why they're gonna label her. Because to them, everything that comes from the Middle East, even fucking halal bread is terrorist. Like, if you put it in a sandwich, it will explode. They're dumb. These fucking Republicans are dumb. Everything is like... So the candidates are not all there, you know? None of them are really like... So it's Trump or nothing, and they know it. But that's why Democrats want to put him in prison. Of course they want to put him in jail, because they know if he wins and he's free to run... You'll fucking win. That's why he has 4 different indictments, more than anybody ever, any president ever.
And what I find weird is that, and it's another hypocrisy, because a lot of the people in the GOP or just the Constitution in general, they say that it has to be a constitution or a nation that doesn't really have religion involved. But then you look at the Republicans, it's all it is. And that's why the term cult fits perfectly, because they are literally a fucking cult at that point.
It's complete bullshit. They always said, this is a Christian nation. We're Christian nationalism. And I'm like, bro, it explicitly says in the Constitution that no religion shall be like running the government. It literally says that. But they are selling people that it was originally founded by people who were Christian, which is also another thing that's false. It's just... Yeah,
they were... Actually, I think a lot of the stuff is like philosophical from Greece, no? Or Greek.
Yeah, the founding fathers, none of them were like... Almost none of them were religious. They were all like a bunch of crazy rebellious atheists or agnostics, or... Some of them believe in God, but they explicitly said, Even though my beliefs are in God, I don't think it should be mixed with politics. I don't think there shall be no establishment of religion, like none, not Muslim, not Christian, not nothing, because it will create a living hell. But you got the crystal fascists that want to make it part of the Gilead, like the Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah. Oh, we watched that series and it fucking
can only handle one episode at a time. With that.
Yeah, and a lot of what's happening at the Handmaid's Tale,
it's happening now.
Oh yeah, that's the other option. If we don't split, we're gonna end up like that. Just fucking.
Yeah, but for women, it's even more difficult.
It's what I was gonna say.
Because for you, the Republicans clearly want you to lose your bodily autonomy. But the Democrats had a chance to codify it and make it law, and they didn't do shit about it. Oh, well, we need the House and the Senate. Motherfuckers, you had it with Obama. You had it, and you didn't do anything about it.
Yeah, they let that shit get overturned, too.
Yeah, well, it got overturned because when they had the chance to make it into law, because a lot of people don't realize, Roe v. Wade is an opinion. People don't realize. A lot of people were writing in my comments. Fucking people. They don't go to law school. They don't know. We had it it was a law of the land. No, Roe v. Wade is an opinion. The Supreme Court of the United States does not do or create law. The laws are created by Ocasio-Cortez and fucking Schumer, and those are the law makers. The law is interpreted by the Supreme Court via opinion. And if you look at the fucking case of Roe v. Wade, it literally says in the beginning, opinion of the court delivered by. And then it tells you the judge that opinionated and the fucking judges that went into it, that had dissenting opinions or concurring. That's how the Supreme Court works. But then after the courts tell you, hey, this is my opinion, then it's your fucking job as legislators to say, okay, well, then I'm going to make it into this law. Yeah. And then you make it into law and then
make it official, if you will.
But if it's an opinion, then it goes back. What happened with the other fucking case? Oh, the opinion was wrong, overturned. Oh, wait, you can do that? Yeah, they can fucking do that. It's a case. It's case law. They can go back and forth on cases. And now they want to experiment too with privacy within the Constitution with cases of people that are in marriages that are interracial. So there's states, I think it was Missouri or some state, that they were saying at a county clerk
literally going back in time,
bro. Literally, like they want us back to like fucking slavery. They wanted to not. They literally did not want to give out marriage licenses for couples that were of different races because there was a person that was religious that was the county clerk. These people are crazy if you let them take control. But then the problem is that the Democrats are not doing anything about it.
So that's what pisses me off about it.
Dude, they're the party of.
It's like somebody's punching you and you're just like, let it like that. But son dejados, yes, but at the same time, they're still getting a cut of money. So that's just the front that they're putting. It's like, yeah, we're gonna take the punches. We're gonna look like little bitches, but we're still getting a cut of the cash, dude. And that's what's fucked up.
They're all getting paid. They're all getting paid. But the problem is that there's a really good documentary called Fahrenheit 9/11. I don't know if you've seen it with Michael Moore that talks about the war and Bush and all that shit. And one of the things it mentions is that Democrats are the party of compromise. So they're always like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll give you this. Now they're doing the immigration thing where Joe Biden is saying, well, if you give me money to send to Ukraine, I will be flexible in terms of the immigration law and the remake of the law for Republicans. So he's making it easier on them if they allow him to get money for you. So they're playing like a little game where it's like, you give me this and I'll give you that. And it's like what happened with the Willow Project. Same thing. You said you were for the environment. Yeah. You ended up.
Oh, they shut that down, didn't they?
No, I think it's still running. But even if they shut it down, the Joe Biden allowed it. It's like, what are you doing, dude? You're not supposed to do that shit. That it causes a bunch of emission gases. And you're supposed to be for green. And you know that these motherfuckers.
Yeah, this type of green.
Has the problem. They're looking for another type of green. So it's not looking good, but. We'll see. It's one of those things.
Time will tell.
With the exponential advancements of technology and AI and biotechnology and whatnot, since I've been wanting to ask somebody that knows about law, you see that there's ethical gaps that are happening because of that increase of technology. What should we do as a nation to kind of, when we have dinosaurs in fucking Congress? That's my worry. Like, how do you start, patching the ethical, I guess, gaps that are happening because technology is moving so fucking fast, and
yeah.
then we're falling behind with it, and then
Yeah.
we have these ethical, problems happening. How do
Yeah.
you?
I was discussing it with a friend the other day that he said that the best president was like Roosevelt or something. I'm like, you're crazy. Roosevelt didn't have to deal with the fucking Bitcoin and the drone program.
Yeah,
and it was like, well, he had his difficulties at the time. I'm like, you're crazy, bro. Like,
oh, I remember you were having.
I
this,
was on, with
yes,
Kevin, my
debate,
friend, and I'm like,
yes.
bro, this is like the complexities that are in the world right now versus the complexities that we had 50 years ago. It's like 20-fold. And he's like, well, you can just press a button and solve it. I'm like, the fuck do you know? You don't know where those buttons are, what they do, what they mean. You have to go to school for that shit. Do you know how to code? Like, no, you have no. These people, like the complexities that we have today are like far more expanded.
Yeah.
And we have to find ways. We have to find ways to like make it work so that we're not taken over by fucking Terminators and shit. It's like,
which is what fucking Skynet is going to happen, it seems like.
You can like print things out and then the system will just put out a fucking like an entire paper and you don't even have to think. There's a lot of technology out there that we need to like kind of dial it back and be like, let's see what we're going to do with this. But the problem is that we keep electing old white men. It's the United States has an affinity for old white people. It's very fucking weird. That's why we picked Joe. If he's old and white, it's great. We'll take a male. A male. Because this country, that's another thing. This country is more misogynist than it's racist. They really don't like, they hate black people. Damn. They hate black people, but they really don't like women.
You don't gotta tell me.
Yeah, and you saw it in the case of Texas. But the worst part is that Kate Cox, the Kate of Kate Cox, that you haven't heard of it, she is like probably gonna get arrested when she comes back to Texas. She had to get an abortion out of state.
Oh yeah,
she had a case where trisomy 13, where her life was being threatened by the fetus, so she had to have an abortion. But because the fetus is viable, because it will only die when it's born, she can't do anything about it because abortion is illegal in Texas, even from the point of conception or moving forward. So she had to get out of state, but then it was later discovered that she's a Republican and she was anti-abortion. So it's ironic, right?
These people, it's so fucked, man. It's so backwards. Do you think about maybe leaving the country someday? Or?
Oh, I think about that shit every day. Every day I wake up.
It's looking more like an option.
I'm thinking of, if Trump wins in
sadly.
If Trump wins in 2024, it might be something that I'll consider. Like I might leave.
I don't blame you, dude.
Because it's like, what are you? And it's crazy too because I'm close to retiring. I have like a lot of good things going on here, but what are we gonna do? Civil war? Like what? And we're good. We're in a liberal state, and as long as we
got the water.
Well, they'll invade us first.
Yeah.
But the problem is that I mean, when you think about it, we are protected by the Constitution because the Constitution allows states to enact their own laws.
Right. Which I love, the sovereignty.
Yeah. So they cannot come here and say, well, you can't have marijuana, you can't have mushrooms, you can't have whatever. But the problem is that they can change it.
Yeah.
They can be like, no, fuck it, we're going to amend the Constitution. It's a piece of paper. It's not sacred. Like you can change it tomorrow, and they can be like, "Yeah, we'll change." If the Republicans take the House and the Senate and the fucking everything, they can be like, "We're going to change the Constitution." Now states are going to follow federal law. Everyone is going to be the same. Then what?
Don't scare me like that, bro. Why? I'm out. I'm out. You're not taking my fucking weed. I'm out.
Weed and then yeah, exactly. Weed and a lot of other shit. But definitely weed is a concern, and abortion rights too.
No, of course, yeah. Just being a dumbass.
They go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
But it's like they're not. Nothing is gonna solve this. Listen, we are at war. The Democrats and Republicans are at war, like Israel and Palestine.
Yeah,
we hate each other the same way. It's like we're not seeing eye to eye on anything, and they're going to have to split the country at one point. I really think so. I think the best solution to all this would be to split the country and let Republicans have church, Second Amendment, guns everywhere. Let them do their fucking thing. Yeah, fuck their family members. All that. Yeah, and no abortions. And then we have everything. Weed, abortion, fucking rock and roll, baby. But, But you know what's going to happen? They're going to come over and defect here. The women are going to, like that woman, like what she did in Texas. Oh, can I go to the Democratic side and get an abortion? I'm like, no, bitch, you're a sovereign nation. You can't come here.
Yeah.
No, now you stay here like the Gilead, like the handmaids. You remember when they were crossing the border? That's what they're gonna get.
Terrifying.
But they don't see it. They don't see it. There's no end in sight.
Since you studied law. You must have ran yourself into some good philosophy books. Was there any books that you could recommend that maybe opened your mind and started making you question real shit, like real shit? I know that for me, The Republic was one of them.
The Republic is really good. I read it. War is a Racket is fantastic.
What is it? I'm sorry?
War is a Racket. Because it teaches you how they're making money off of war. How war is profitable for the United States. And
necro-capitalism.
Yeah, it would explain why they're doing what they're doing. You're like, oh, you're just making money off of this shit, you know? That one is really good. And if you want to hear about, you know, colonization process and process of liberation, there's a really good one from this black lady. I forgot the name of the book. It's not, I'll remember it later and I'll tell it to you. Freedom is a Constant Struggle, I think it's called. You know, how to be anti-racist, white fragility. There's a lot of, I think this country needs to understand race relations, you know, and how the government can work for you or against you. Those books are important because people don't differentiate. But I think in 2024, that election is going to change everything for a lot of people, especially Democrats.
Well, to give you some of my context, I am currently in DACA.
Oh, you're a DACA baby.
I'm a DACA baby, yes. And if Trump goes in,
you're done.
I'm pretty much, I could be fucked. You know, I could be really fucked. And you know, it's
that sucks.
It's tough, man. It's tough, and I can't vote. You know, I can't do anything like that. So I'm just, it's just sucks that the Latinos get repaid like this. But I also have faith that the Latinos will take over the.
We're not that big of not small of a minority anymore.
Yeah, that's true. The problem is that you got a lot of Latinos with internalized racism that love Trump.
That's what we need to do this fucking podcast. That's what we need to put shit on TikTok so that our community can fucking open their eyes and realize that this shit ain't serving us anything.
No, it's difficult. But now the Democrats are not leaving up with many choices. So they're going to bleed out a couple of votes in that too. Yeah, it's important to vote for what you stand for. But at the same time, they need to understand that the Republicans simply are not helping immigrants. But now Joe Biden is like not doing it either. So it's like, who's going to work for us and who's going to work against us? Maybe you and I run. I'll put you on the ticket as vice president.
Just a question mark.
Vice president.
There you go.
You Secretary of Education. We need to educate people. We need to educate women too.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about the education system as well. Since you grew up in Puerto Rico, do you see a big difference, or is it very? Because I don't know. Yeah. I know the education system in the U.S. is not.
It's shit. It's not only that it's shit. It's also that it's whitewashed.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of shit that they
super fucking whitewashed.
They're not telling
very manipulated.
You. Yeah, they're not telling you. You know, when people talk about Puerto Rico, they don't tell you what they did to us. They tell you, oh, well, you know, these people. And
they needed help.
We went one day, you know, and the Indians were there, and we put a turkey on the table, and everybody ate. It was great.
And we're getting along.
Yeah. Thanksgiving, there was moments of peace. And Tainas married with white men, and that's where you came from. There wasn't none of that shit. Stupid.
Definitely not.
It's like they really, I mean, I look at what they're doing in Florida with the books.
They're
they're like, these books are woke. I'm like, are they woke or is it true history and you don't want white people to know? Well, which one is it?
They've questioned Ron DeSantis in so many places that they're like, okay, what the fuck? What does this book have to do with anything that you're saying about wokeness? And it's like, no, it didn't get banned. It didn't get banned. He'll gaslight the fucking interviewer right then and then.
He's crazy. They took out the book from Roberto Clemente, the baseball player from Puerto Rico, because he talked about the freedom of black people and how important it was to have black representation in the major league. Banned book, woke. I'm like, really, bro?
Did you play any sports growing up?
I used to play. Yeah, I play basketball. Still do. My Achilles is hurting because I'm 48. Not the same.
Well, you're telling me I play soccer and I'm ready to hang the cleats.
Yeah. But you're young. Yeah, I used to play basketball. I still play a little bit and try to stay healthy and do snowboarding because here in Colorado it's like great. But
you know what? I've never done snowboarding.
It's great.
And I've lived here my whole life.
Wow.
My whole life. But I'm scared because I'm
It's
scared
scary.
I'll break a leg.
You won't break a leg because in the beginning you take lessons. You go
Okay.
to Loveland, take some lessons. They're like $100 and they teach you and they give you the equipment and then slowly you progress. My son learned super fast. It took me a little bit because when you're older, it's harder. When you're younger, it's easier because young kids, like, they take everything at face value.
I do longboarding, so I
that's great.
Yeah, I do longboarding, so anything pavement I can do. But
if you do that, you can do snowboarding because this is the same thing. It's just that snowboarding is longboard is with the back because you're racing the tail a little bit and you can go back and forth and do tic tacs. With snowboarding is the front, so you're leaning on that knee outwards and forward, and the board follows the front knee. So it's quite easy. Yeah.
Wow.
The problem is that the higher you go, the mountains here in Colorado, if you do like a black double diamond 12,000 feet one, then that's different.
Oh no,
I've been on those.
Suicide at that point.
It's not fun.
Very intimidating.
Yeah, that shit is scary.
What would be a good recommendation for those Latino kids or those Latino students that are currently maybe going through law school or going through school? Like, what did Luisito back in the day do whenever, you get those fucking assignments and you just don't want to do it? What's some good advice? Because that has happened to me, but somebody that went through the education system, somebody that, it's a hard career to attain. What would you recommend to them?
We as Latinos are already called dumb and welfare queens immediately, right? We're all on welfare. We're all like drug addicts. We're all alcoholics. We're all... They say the most horrible things about us. So we are already, like black people, same thing, have to be not even faster than the slowest camper. We have to be faster than the bear that is going to attack the camp. Faster than the panther that is behind the bear. You have to be faster than everybody. So it's going to sound like a cliche, but the biggest part of it is education. People of color, including not even Latinos, everyone, like black people, we have to learn how to get our education in fucking check. Like, read a ton, even if you're not...
At least listen.
Yeah, even if you're not in college, you have to have the ability to be educated and read. Watch documentaries. I watch trash TV. I'll look at 90 Day.
We all have. That's her
That's my
fucking...
shit.
I like
That's
90 Day.
my
Yeah. I like to watch Baby Love and Usman every now and then.
Just to mix it up a little
They
bit.
make me laugh.
Yeah.
But I don't do it all the time. Sometimes I'll be like, let me watch a documentary on this topic or that topic, and I switch it around. And then on top of that, I read. And on top of reading, go to college, get a degree, and get a higher education. But education is truly key. I know it sounds like a cliche, but the more intelligent you are, the more you can give it back to these people so that they don't put you in a spot.
Yeah.
I have been called
that's what you do.
I have been called
on TikTok.
I have been called cross-eyed, bald. They don't call me ugly because I'm pretty good looking. But
you are. You have a good profile.
Thank you. I have the jawline. But they can't call me dumb. I never heard one of them say, well, "You're fucking dumb." You can say whatever you want, but I'm not dumb. But and they try to get you. Oh, you said this. I'm like, I didn't say this. My memory is good enough. I said this, this, and this.
You're good at that, bro.
Yeah.
I've noticed.
Well, it's the attorney thing. Thank you. But it's the lawyer thing. But again, that comes with your mind is a muscle. It's like you go to the gym and you're working out your biceps. It's the same shit. You have to read, get your mind grinded, memorize things. The mind is a muscle. You exercise it and it gets better as you go. I have gotten a little bit lazy because I'm older now, but when I was younger, I used to read a lot more. In law school, I read tons of cases and watched a lot of good documentaries. It's all about education. If you're a person of color in the United States, you have to be faster. Not than the slowest camper, faster than the fucking bear. I always say education is everything.
I like that. That connects a lot with me. Just that message that you're saying, just faster than the bear. Yeah, because we're already considered not only a minority, but we're we start in the negatives.
Oh yeah,
we start in the negatives, and to reach somewhere decent, it's fucking difficult as a Latino.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you have to prove yourself a bit more.
Yeah, 100%. You have to even whitewash yourself to a certain extent.
Dude, even with dating. Like, have you seen women dating white men that are super mediocre and they're beautiful and they just because white men have it easier immediately in the United States. If you're white and male in the United States,
You have it all.
you can half-ass it and be okay.
Like, why you mad, bro? You're white.
Yeah, if you, I always say, if when a white man comes to me on my TikTok and says, "Oh, I don't have white privilege, I'm white and I'm poor," and I'm like, "Well, you really fucked up." Because if you're white and a male in the United States and you still didn't make it, you must be like the epitome of fucking dumb. You know?
Fuck.
If you're born with all the advantages in the fucking planet and you drop the ball and you're poor, how the fuck are you poor if you're white and a male in the United States? Bro, if I was white and I would be like, I will have a G4 plane by now. If I was white. You kidding me? No, but the problem is that we have to like change the messaging and push education. But unfortunately, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, people of color, I'll play football, or like, that's great, but
fuck up your brain.
That's yeah, you got TBI, but you can do a lot more. You know, there's a lot of bigger things that you can do. Education is everything to me.
Amen. I agree with that. I agree with that. Let me ask you: did TikTok find you, or did you find TikTok? How did that even start?
Yeah,
What day
weird.
was Luisito like sitting on his bed or couch and saying, "I'm gonna create a TikTok"? And then not only that, with the broad sense of like content that you could create, from picking a pimple, you know, to fucking ASMR to whatever. How did you pick, you know, the political realm?
I didn't. I just had it in my head, and I was like, because I'm a person that wakes up with constant premises. My brain never stops. It's annoying. It's exhausting.
Wow.
When I wake up, my brain is like, you remember this, you remember that, you remember that. I'm always like, and it just doesn't stop.
Since you were a kid?
Yeah, since I was a child. Like I scored very high on all my tests and all that shit because I had so much information. And I was like, you would see me on a test like this. Like I wanted to sit in front and just like and empty myself on a piece of paper because I had all this information. So I took the bar and I didn't even study for it. And I passed it. People were like,
holy shit.
Yeah, people were like, how the fuck did you pass it? And I'm like, because this information, it feels like my head is going to explode. So when I go on
flex.
That's a mental flex.
It's annoying because you know what the problem is? If you don't release it, it stays there and it drives you crazy. When I do TikTok videos, some people are like, how the fuck do you do those videos?
Like I was about to ask you.
Yeah, I have people that see me do it and I was like, and then and I send it and they're like, how the hell do you do that with like very little editing of the top of your head? You're not even reading things. I was like, because it's in my head and I have to release it. If I leave it there. So I had all these thoughts and I made one time. I was with my ex at a hotel in Seattle and I was like, I have something to say. And I'm fucking, and I sent it. My daughter said, oh, you should check it out, Dad. There's cats and fucking people doing shit and it's like crazy and dancing. I was like, and I looked at it, but then I saw some people talking about other things. I'm like, oh, you can talk about this and you can talk about things and post it. Great. I'll do one. 10,000 likes. I'm like, whoa, that's weird. How many people saw that shit? Then I did another one. 20,000. I was like, and then followers started coming.
Interesting.
10,000. I was like, I have 10,000. I showed it to my ex. She's like, oh, that's crazy. 20,000 the next day. And I'm like,
what is going on?
100,000.
My phone. Man, I need to return this.
I know, what's happening? This is weird. In 1 month, I had 100,000. And my ex was like, whoa, what is that? And I'm like, I don't fucking...
What is that? I started getting interested in it.
And then my daughter saw it, and my daughter was like, Dad, what is the hell? And she's like, that's what TikTok does. You create, you grow organically really quick. And then I was at 200,000 in like 9 months. And in a year, I was at 400,000. I'm close to 500,000.
Yeah,
I'm at 490
close
now.
to the 500,000.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's probably going to happen before February, I predict, because now I just keep growing. Because now I like, the Democrats hated me, but down the Muslim communities, like I have Muslim people everywhere now. They're like, why don't you come to Morocco and stay with me? Why don't you come to...
I would love to go to Morocco.
Everyone, I have people all over the planet telling me to stay with them. So I'll be traveling the next year, probably like once every month.
Oh, you really created a good community.
It's great. Yeah, good people,
They're
people.
awesome people, honestly.
Arab people are great, yeah. But they're giving a bad rap again because Western culture and all the bullshit and they terrorists. They're all terrorists. It's just like so reductionist and dumb and uneducated because there's so many of them that predict love, that they want you and everybody else to be okay and treated fairly. I am non-religious and they always treated me fairly. And they're Muslims, practicing Muslims.
Is that, when did you find out you weren't believing in a higher being?
Oh, bro, like at 14. I went into church because my mother used to take me when I was evangelical. Like, she used to take me every weekend, and I hated it. And one day, because of the lawyer that I am, I was 14, and they were talking about Abraham when he was about to stab his son and all that bullshit. And I told her, it's like, wait, we're gonna commit like attempted murder just to prove a fucking point. And the teacher was like, well, that's not the point. The point is he didn't do it, but he was willing to do it for God. I'm like, well, he shouldn't be willing to do that shit for God anyways. Why would you stab someone to make someone happy? What the fuck is this narcissistic shit? She kicked me out of the fucking class. Like she kicked me out.
That's God?
Talked to my mom, and she was like, oh, he's a disruption to the class. And I told my mom, I'm like, listen, this is complete horseshit. I'm never coming back to this place. And she's like, you'll do what I tell you until you're 18. I'm like, fuck. Well, I'll do this until I'm 18. The moment I turn 18, I'm not stepping in a church ever again. And she's like, well, do you whatever you want. Turn 18, never went back to church. True to my word, I'm 48, never went back.
Really?
No, it's a waste of time. Religion to me is an instrument of control. It's an instrument of control. It's an instrument to control people. With a book written by people who had no running water or electricity. So what do I have to learn from you? Yeah, no disrespect. I mean, if you want to, I tell people.
Well, and there's values, there's certain values.
Yeah, there's certain things that are nice. Don't kill your neighbor, don't fuck your wife. I get that. But I don't need a book to tell me that, but don't eat cookies and whatever. It's fine. I don't care.
Don't fuck a horse.
Don't fuck only if you pay, but not the neighbor's wife. It's like, listen, I don't need a higher being or a book to tell me where my moral compass should be. If anything, there are people that need somebody to tell them under threat of swimming in lava that they need to behave. Those people worry me. You should be able to do that shit without anybody telling you to. But to each his own. Like, I have no problem with people that believe in religion. I say it all the time. It's the one topic I don't touch on TikTok. I don't talk about religion. Unless they're like pushing me and they're like, oh, what do you think? What do you think? I'm like, well, okay. But no, you believe in what you want to believe. You want to be a Mormon and believe that little fucking kid found tablets in the middle of the forest. Believe that. Yeah. If you want to believe that you can have 72 virgins when you die, fine. Everybody has their own shit. Just don't tell me how to live my life. Don't tell me, oh, you should believe in it too. No, that's where I draw the line. Don't tell me to like believe in what you believe. Let's all do your thing. I'll do mine. We Gucci. But don't tell me what to do. I always tell people, don't tell me what to do. That's my phrase. My now girlfriend makes fun of me. She's always saying, you always had that little phrase, don't tell me what to do. I love it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't like people telling me what to do. Because I don't tell anybody what to do.
Yeah.
So,
it's respect, honestly. It's just the respect that you have.
Yeah.
You don't cross the line. They shouldn't be crossing your line, Unless you go out of your way and say, hey, amigo, ayúdame. Help me with
That's different, yeah. But especially with religion. You don't want to tell other people what to believe in. Beliefs are like finicky. You can control masses, and then you have all these cults popping around.
Oh yeah, I mean, Mother God,
Mother God, Koresh, Jim Jones, like these people like are costing people lives.
Yeah, it's super fucked up.
My girlfriend always says, if you start a cult, I'm out. I was like, maybe I can do it. You be Mother God and I'll be Father God. And she's like, I don't want anything to do with that shit.
People are stupid enough to probably follow somebody.
She tells me all the time, she's like, I bet you could start a cult. And I'm like, probably.
You probably bring up some good points as a lawyer.
Right? After 480,000, maybe I get 100. All you need is like 100. That's it.
That's how it starts.
Oh yeah. Start small and scale it.
Cloud for the haters. God, that's a section that you have on your TikTok, which is a section that I'm always in because I just like people don't understand that they're going against a lawyer to begin with. It's like, well, and I'm like, you're just fucked up and commenting that. Has there been any like instance where there's like a weird one or like something fucked up? Like if you want to disclose, disclose.
Well, you saw it, the one that the one with the Trumper that it was like. Well, it wasn't a Trumper. It wasn't a club for the haters, but it happened. It was weird where I was defending this guy from a Trumper, and then that guy ended up being a Trumper.
Oh,
he was Mexican. Yeah, he was like, "Well, no hate for Trump, I vote for Trump," and I'm like, "I'm defending you from a Trumper, and you're a Trumper. Fuck both of you. Like, solve that shit. I'm out.
Get the fuck out.
Suck each other off."
But the club for the haters has dwindled because. This is funny. They're not coming after me as much because they know I'll put them on blast. Now they fucking. I saw a guy yesterday that said some stupid shit, And I was like, don't talk about Puerto Rico. He was like, oh, now you don't like, now you miss Puerto Rico. I'm like, listen, dude, don't talk about my fucking island. You don't know what you're talking about. I live here. And I'm like, you can live there, but you're not from there. I can tell. Because he called it like a welfare state. I'm like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about my island.
That's so disrespectful.
Keep my name, my island's name out of your mouth, you know? And then when I went back, comment unavailable. People say on TikTok that I am the king of comment unavailable. Because I say some shit and I bring it back and they're like, let me delete that. I'm like, you're a fucking coward. They talk. The thing is like, here's the thing. There's a lot of people that like to like keyboard warriors, right? Keyboard terrorists are brave, you know? They usually an account with a bunch of credit card numbers, fucking user 75433187, whatever the fuck. And then it's like
that's such a weird thing that people do that.
No picture,
well,
no
they don't even
nothing.
have the balls to put a face behind the opinion.
Yeah, and no content. I'm like, how are you? You should. A guy sent me a message today because I posted the movie. Do not give in to conspiracy theories. You're not that. And I replied, do not tell me what to fucking do. And I sent it and I left it at that. And I'm waiting to see if he replies. If you're looking, I'm going to put you on fucking blast. Because it's like, no, you don't create content. I always say it, if you can do what I do, what makes you think you're going to tell me how to do it? Right?
Yeah.
If you can't do if you're a content creator, we can get at it. I'll argue with you. But if you're not a content creator, I don't want to even hear it. I not even consider your opinion if you don't have the balls to sit in front of a microphone with 490,000 people looking at your opinion and putting your opinion out there and hitting the send button. You can do that. I don't want to fucking hear it.
Heck, I will say I even struggle with that, like not to formulate an opinion because I know what I believe.
Right.
But like something like you do, that I don't see myself doing that type of content because it's something very different. Like I have to be very methodical.
Yeah.
Like,
but I'm crazy too, so
maybe a tad, you know.
You have to have a little bit of wackadoodle in you. I don't give a shit. People are like, you're so authentic, and I was like, it's not that I'm trying. It's just that I don't know any other way. Like I have a problem with that. In all honesty, like if you ask me something, I'll tell you the truth. Like I won't. That's why I always tell the people that are with me, like if you're dating me, I'm like, don't ask me if the dress looks nice, because I'll tell you.
Oh, you're that.
I'm that type of dude. Yeah, I'm like, don't ask me.
Keeps it real.
Yeah, I'm not a good liar, except if I'm making shit up for kicks, you know. But
I remember posting something and you get a comment and automatically you're like, what the fuck, man? Like, like you can feel bad, you know. If
I get hundreds.
Dude, I don't know how you do it. Like,
hundreds and hundreds.
For me,
thousands.
I would not be able to read comments. I'd just be like, fuck it.
People tell me all the time, do not read the comments. They tell me because it's gonna damage you. It's gonna make you feel bad. I'm like, I live for the comments. I love it.
Well, yeah. In essence, it's kind of like a very retroalimentación. I don't know how to. It feeds your content in a way.
Oh, that's why I say I'm never gonna run out of content because my content comes from the comments and the stupid shit people say. You know what the problem is? Most people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They'll say something thinking they're being crafty and they're not. They're just saying some bullshit. And a lot of those comments are like easily like you can break them down. You're like, you're wrong and this is why.
Giving you content.
90% of them. It really is 90% of what people and people in general. That's why lawyers tell you do not speak. Like if you're under arrest, don't talk because most people say stupid shit that you'll slip because people don't think when they write. They write out of like knee jerk and then they send it. And that's why all of those comments, when I address them, they delete them because it's like, there was a guy who was Jewish, right? He was a Zionist. He said, tell me why this is a genocide. 2,700 likes. Oh, shit. My bad.
I can fix it.
Fuck.
You're good.
No, but I really want to get it right. Okay. All right. So this guy is a Zionist and he comes at me. Why is this a genocide? And I did a whole explanation.
Why is this a genocide?
Yeah. And I was like, I'll tell you.
And he's Jewish. That's what I fucking don't understand.
I'm like, I'll tell you. I'll tell you why. And I explained it and I broke it down on a video. And then he deleted the comment. And he's like, I'll debate you. You're a coward. And I'm like, let's do it. What time? 9. Okay. By the time I got back from work, he was like deleted his profile and blocked me. I'm like, you're a fucking coward.
Deleted his profile.
What a hypocrite.
Well, he blocked me, so I can't see his profile.
Okay.
But I'm like, you're a coward. You're talking shit, but you don't know what you're talking about. But there's a lot of people like that they don't have. Like, if you come at me with a structured argument, I'll talk to you about it. I'm like, okay, you just made a good point. you know. But most people don't know what the fuck they're talking about on a lot of shit.
It's better to stay quiet at that point.
Yeah.
Just,
If you don't know what you're talking about, I wouldn't like people people come at me all the time with the same bullshit. You think you know everything. I'm like, I don't know everything. I just know more than you. If I know more than you, I'll tell you. Like, I won't argue immunology with a doctor.
Right, yeah.
I won't argue about vaccine research, about vaccine. The only morons that are doing that is you people. That I've never stepped
Everybody
on.
Everybody got a doctor once COVID hit.
Never fucking been to a fucking, like, never taken a class. And you're like, this vaccine, I don't know. I'm like, what the fuck do you know? You have no idea. They could be hair gel in that goddamn syringe and you have no clue. But they think they know. It's Dunning-Kruger. It's the ability to think that the less you know, the more you know. And ironically, people who know more, that's the Dunning-Kruger effect. People who know more think they know less. You know, but these people, a lot of people think they know shit. They have no fucking idea. And you know, there's a lot of topics that I don't touch on. You know, I don't touch on it on medicine. I never talk about vaccines. I leave that shit to Dr. Eric B. And you know, there's a lot of good content creators on TikTok that are doctors that are great. But if it's like things about Puerto Rico or about certain political topics,
this is my shit.
Yeah, you're not gonna like. It's like the Joe Biden thing. People are like, "Oh, how could you possibly know he's gonna lose?" I'm like, because I come from a place that has a 92% voter rate. When you think about Puerto Rico and about the United States voting system is far more not complex. It's just you can like tell, you can predict when someone is gonna lose because it's one man, one vote. It's not representative. It's not like the United States where you have the electoral college. Puerto Rico doesn't have that. So it's like old school paper shit.
Okay.
And one of the best ways, and my dad taught me this, and it's crazy, but it's true. My dad predicted every single election since I was a child, and he never missed. He said, this person.
Really?
Yeah, my dad was fucking. If you think I'm smart, you should talk to my dad one time. If he's here,
what are they feeding in Puerto Rico, man?
If he's coming, I think in May. If he's here, I'll bring him to the podcast, and you can talk. My dad is even fucking like crazier than me. He went to Vietnam, so he has some good stories. Oh, wow. But my dad, he predicted, and I was always like, one day I'm like, Dad, how can you fucking possibly know? And he's like, because you always have to talk to the people. When you talk to the people, you know where an election is going because it's lo que le llaman un muestreo. It's like a sample.
Okay.
It's like you're talking to a few and you can get a sense. And every election, 3 months before, I just will go to the horse track. Hey, who you voting? Hey, at the store. Hey, who you voting? At the mechanic. Hey, what do you think about this election? And people will fucking tell you. And after you do that like 15 or 20 times, if 15 people are telling you they're going to vote for Trump, you can rest assured that Trump is going to win. Because it's like un muestreo. You took a sample. And people are like, well, how? That's bullshit. It's just a few people. No, it's like...
It's a mentality.
It's a trend. You could see it. And this is what's happening to me now. I talk to a lot of people. Friends, Latinos, Black people, the Arab community. I do the same shit my dad did. Hey, what do you think?
Sampleas.
We're not doing it. They're not doing it. My cousins in fucking Michigan are not doing it. I'm like, well, that's a lot of people. And it's a sample, and usually it's a good predictor.
Wow.
Yeah. It's terrifying because then it gives you like a glimpse of the future.
Ay, Dios mío.
Yeah, I know.
Gran poder.
But this is why people get freaky. This is why they get angry at me because they know I'm right. When they see me, they're like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, no, you know I know what I'm talking about. That's why you're getting upset. Because what I'm saying, it's not only convincing, but you know it to be true.
Yeah.
People know it. But, you know, I hope I'm wrong. I always say it. I hope I'm wrong. If in November, when some lady, when November hits, you're going to eat your words and Biden is going to win. I'm like, from your mouth to God's fucking ears up in the heavens. I hope you're right. I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. You think I want to be right and have Trump win? I don't want that. I want to be wrong, but I doubt it. That's the problem.
Just to kind of start closing things out, Luis, I'm looking at your sweater. Just fucking badass. And they're all from Puerto Rico, no?
These are my favorites. So I got Residente. Residente is my number one.
Okay.
Especially now he did that video speaking on Palestine. Yeah. He's great. He's good for the liberation cause.
A ver, y Bad Bunny? Bad Bunny has gotten some heat.
He's gotten some heat.
He got into some heat, but listen, Bad Bunny is Bad Bunny. He almost has the record now for most albums sold on Spotify. I mean, he's killing it. So He's a controversial dude, but he's still Puerto Rican. You gotta put if you're going to put 5 musicians in it, you gotta get Bad Bunny. Whatever you say about him, I get it.
Yeah. Tego Calderón, one of my favorites.
Tego es el Abayalde. He's the fucking OG from Loíza.
I love Tego.
And Tego is the old school reggaetonero. He's the one that brought it to the scene. Like Saranana reggaeton, you know, it's like it's a different style of black African influence from Loíza. I fucking loved it.
And then DR, no? Dominican Republic too, no? Like that kind of influence.
Oh, yeah. We got a little bit of DR, a little bit of Panama. We got a little bit from everywhere. But Tego was the one that brought it for the black community. Because Loíza is a Yoruba tribe, black area in Puerto Rico that is all black. So if you go to Loíza, it's all black. It's really cool. And Tego's from there. And he was in Fast and the Furious. He's a cool actor. He's just a cool dude. I like him. Then Daddy Yankee, who
he just turned Christian,
who lost his fucking marbles. He's now, I'm turning into the life of Christ. I'm like, bro, listen, this is the problem with these fucking raperos. It's like they were like criminals, you know, doing a bunch of fuck. I can't say. Can I say fuck?
You can say whatever the fuck you want.
Fucking like fuck. Women.
No, pero si vas a decir fuck, dilo fuck.
Okay? Fuck like Tony Montana. Fuck. Fucking all the woman, chico. Doing a bunch of crazy shit, and now it's like you found God, really? After you did all that criminal shit? It's whatever, dude. He's still Daddy Yankee. I got him on my list because it's the one and only Daddy. Let's leave him there. Then Don Omar, because Don Omar was like one of the young reggaetoneros that put it out there, sang with Tego, and I just like him. He's one of the...
He had a great music.
But that's it. Women got angry at me because I didn't put Ivy Queen. I should have put Ivy Queen. I should have taken fucking Don Omar out. That was misogynist of me.
Hey, you accept it.
That was fucked up.
Maybe
I'll do another
sweater.
one.
Yeah, make another sweater.
I'll do another sweater.
Do you like pink? Maybe
I'll do a pink one with. I'll do one with women reggaetoneros.
There's a lot of Puerto Rican.
There's a couple of Puerto Rican women reggaetoneros that are pretty good. I'll do that one, and I'll bring it over and give it to you.
But Young Miko better be on there.
Young Miko. Young Miko's good. Yeah. There's a couple of pictures with Bad Bunny with.
And one last question, just to, so with the being in the industry of TikTok, have you what's that? Do they hit you up like the people up top just tell you, hey, this is what's going on, or do you get invited to places? Like they just had this whole TikTok.
They invited me to the Casa TikTok thing, and I went. I said no last year, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go this year. So
what is that?
Casa TikTok is an event for Miami for Latino content creators. So a lot of Latino content creators were there. I got to meet Dean Huertas and a lot of other content creators that are Puerto Rican. It was a great time. Funky Bacalao, shout out to Funky. Just a lot of good Latino content creators and other content creators like from Mexico, from other places. Mr. Nalgas, I think, was there. Is that his name? Mr. Nalgas?
Yeah.
I don't know who Mr. Nalgas is.
Yeah, you know him? He's a really cool dude. Yeah.
He's not on my algorithm, I guess.
Yeah, Antonio Skits. There's a couple of really good ones. So I met a lot of cool people. But mostly TikTok is TikTok, you know. They like say they like help you and shit, but it's like, you know. I think TikTok is too regulated. And I'm looking to expand. Yeah, maybe move to YouTube, Instagram, because I am probably going to get banned soon, especially after this whole Palestine thing.
Yeah,
I get warnings on my account all the time. I haven't gotten one in a while, which is starting to worry me.
And it's, well, and it's fucked up because I see your content and you're not saying anything fucked up.
Yeah, I'm not, but it's a lot of it is like, oh, you're like, I try to not do it against other like followers and shit, because then it's like, oh, you're bullying or harassing. So, but I think if I had the creative freedom to do, if TikTok told me like The Purge is like, you can do whatever the fuck you want for a week, I'll get like 1 million followers, because I'm far more creative than I am. But I can't do it. If they let me do roasting, just roasting like really hard, I will get 1 million followers in a month. I would. I really, really would. But the problem is they won't let me. So it's like I feel tied in terms of my creativity. So I might expand to YouTube, and I would love to do a podcast as well. This is great. This is a great setting. So we might do it again.
You're always invited, brother.
Yeah, create a nice collaboration. It'll be fun. I think it will be different, So we should do this because you can expand a lot more and talk about a lot more things. And we can do ones that not even politics, just shoot the shit.
Yeah. And honestly, one reason that I made this podcast is because I want to put Colorado on the map. Like, I feel like New York gets clout. California gets clout. Everybody's moving to Colorado, but we're not getting the clout. So
this place is great.
And
this is
it's amazing.
This is Colorado's the best kept secret on the planet. We got weed. We got mushrooms. We got the mountains. We got the best beer. We got the championship basketball team. We got the championship football team. We got everything. This place is killing it. Colorado is home to me. I'm weird. People are like, oh, you're Puerto Rican. What the fuck, Colorado? I'm like, I fucking love my state. I love the cold. I love the snow. I love the culture. I went with my kid the other day, and there were people smoking weed at the parking lot, and we were snowboarding, and it was like, this is fucking wild. You know, it's a very different place. It's
Amsterdam.
great. It's Amsterdam, but like cooler. You're bigger. Yeah. You know, and I like it. And
no red light district or whatever.
Yeah, you know, and there's things, you know, not everything is perfect. There's a couple of trumpers. If you go too much south or too much north, then it gets sketchy. But I like Colorado, and we don't get enough rep. And I'm definitely glad that you're here, because I connect with people, and it's great that I can connect with a follower and with a content creator that's here, because it will be great if we keep collaborating. But yeah, I agree with you. We should hype Colorado. The problem is that we don't want people coming here either, you know. They're going to keep hiking the fucking prices up, and it's going to get more expensive.
That is true. Well, hopefully that check comes in, you know.
Oh, the marijuana check, right? The weed check.
Just to close it, we have a section here at the podcast called What's Your Bop? And in this section, we all pick a song.
Nice.
And we'll put it on our Yolking Around playlist.
Nice.
So I want to ask you, Luisito, what is a song that you've been vibing to recently or on repeat? And then we'll add it onto the podcast.
Noche de Entierro.
Noche de Entierro.
Go look at that shit. It had Daddy Yankee in it.
Yeah.
It had all of them, all the stars. Daddy Yankee, it had Héctor.
Héctor El
Héctor El Father, who's also religious.
Yeah.
He was in a shooting.
What?
He was in a shooting. He shot people, and then he fucking almost went to jail for it and got accused. And then he turned into Christ too. I'm telling you, these motherfuckers, when they get close to jail, they find God quick.
So,
Noche de Entierro. Look it up, you'll see it.
Do you have one, babe?
Yeah, mine was going to be Luna by Fade.
Nice.
Okay, Luna. Yo tengo un otro con Fade, pero Arcángel, Arca 10,000. It's just out of
Arcángel.
I know about Arcángel, man.
Junto a Ñejo y Dálmata. He had a song with Ñejo y Dálmata in Puerto Rico.
I remember. Yeah. I remember. Dálmata.
Broken Famous, they call it. Broken Famous. Which was this? What was the name of that song? It was a good song. I'll look it up and send it to you.
Luis, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely, brother. Enjoy this coquito, by the way.
This
is Oreo coquito. This is as good as it gets.
What's in it?
It's condensed milk, evaporated milk, coconut milk, and then you put tea of spices. So the tea of spices is made of cloves, cinnamon sticks, ginger, and then you put a little star anise. And then to top it all off, on this one, I added Kraken rum, which is a very high quality rum. And it has 15 Oreos grinded in it.
Oh, hell yeah. I love Oreos.
So it's really tasty. It's sweet. Just don't go crazy on it, because then you know.
Oh,
you don't want to have a coquito baby. Coquito babies are a thing. They'll come back and be like, Luis, what did you do?
You fucked me up, man.
Not my fault. You got a coquito baby now.
I guess, would that make him kind of Puerto Rican?
It will make him 100% Puerto Rican. I'll bring him a sweatshirt. It'll be great.
Luis, where can people go find you, and what's your social media?
Luisitorio787 is my TikTok handle, Luisitorio787, and it's the same for Instagram if you want to go check out pictures of my dog Scooby. And there's also on Facebook, Luisitorio787. And on YouTube, I have a channel, but I haven't developed it yet, Luisitorio787, the Mofongo Wars podcast. You and I are going to work on that. We're going to Mofongo Wars. We're going to sit down. We're going to talk about it, because I love your setup. This is great. I needed someone to help me and guide me through it. And
I'll be your spirit.
It will be great if you're that person.
Podcast guide.
And we can do this again, because this is like, I love the conversations, and it's a nice thing to do every now and then, and just to keep people riled up, and it's just fun. Just to shoot the shit.
We'll have to have you back and
do it
one in Spanish. You know,
next
time.
We'll do it in Spanish too. Eso es lo bueno, que también sé español. Y ahí en español es que yo me pongo violento. Empiezo a hablar mal y esa pendeja. I get crazy.
Well, thank you everyone that watched. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was amazing having somebody that I admire, and hopefully you guys got something out of this content. And stay put. Go give it a big thumbs up, like, subscribe, hit all the buttons.
Yep. Share
it. Go support your local Latino Coloradans.
Thank you for the people on my phone on the live too. They were checking it out. Hopefully it didn't drop.
We're about to find out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Que tengan buen día.
Stay blessed. Muchas gracias, güey.
Yeah, that was